Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Well, this evening we're going to be headed over to my mom's garden to see her cup and saucer vine that is now in beautiful full bloom. I started about 6 cup and saucer vine plants really early on this season, and I planted most of them here in my garden, but honestly, none of them really took off. But hers has climbed all the way up her bird feeder and it's blooming now. So she said we could come over and check it out. I think the flowers are absolutely gorgeous, and maybe she'll let me pick a few to take home and arrange with. But as a way of saying thank you for letting us come over, I'm going to go ahead and pick some apples and pears for her. I also want to pick her a vase of gold light sunflowers and put them in a vase that used to belong to my grandmother. And I'm also going to be gifting my parents a hose from Giraffe Tools. It's one of those retractable hoses, and Giraffe Tools wanted to send me out a hose, and that was so kind of them, but I honestly don't use hoses, so I don't know, I just didn't really know what to say. But my parents have a hose that is really in need of replacement, so I said to them, would you be willing to send my parents a free hose and have them try it out? And they said sure. So we're just going to take that hose over to them. And then I really feel like with anything like a tool or a hose or anything, you really got to put it through the ringer before you can say if it's any good or not. So I think today we'll just go ahead and give it to them, and then maybe in a year from now we can get their thoughts on how they like it. So let me show it to you. So I went ahead and took the hose reel out of the box to just see how heavy it was and how easy or hard it was going to be to mount. It looks pretty easy, but I'll definitely give you an update once it's installed. So apparently this is your mounting bracket, and you can either put your screws into the mortar if you have a brick and mortar house, or you can go ahead and install this onto a post. Then of course your hose is housed inside the body here. It's wound all around. Slip that right onto the mount, and then you can see the retractable hose inside. Actually, I don't know, can you see that in the camera or not? But anyway, this is not really going to be a review video or installation or anything like that. It's just a gift for my parents, and I will go ahead and ask them, you know, I'll give them some time with it, honestly probably a year when it comes to tools, and then I'll let you guys know what they think. And I'm not sure I've ever mentioned it before, but my mom is the one that plays all of the beautiful piano music that you hear in my videos. Some of them are original pieces that she wrote herself. Some, of course, are hymns. And I love seeing in the comments section when people say that they're able to sing along as I harvest flowers. I just think that's so wonderful to think that we can all just get some therapy both in the garden and from music as well, because that's what she went to school for, was musical therapy, and she taught piano my whole life growing up. And then my dad, he designed my logo there, the hummingbird. He has been an artist ever since I was a young girl. He's written tons of wonderful rhyming books for kids based on Bible stories. So I just thought it would be nice to kind of include them in the video. I'm not really sure I'll show them. I'm not sure if they want that, but I just wanted to acknowledge their presence kind of behind the scenes here in my videos, because I think without them, a large part of the feeling behind my videos would be missing. So why don't we go ahead and get to harvesting and then head over and see this cup and saucer vine. So here are the beautiful Gold Light DMR sunflowers. I'll see if I can get one for you in the shade. Beautiful green center on these. These I planted at 4 inches apart instead of 6 inches like I did my first wave of these. It's a lot easier to tuck them into arrangements at this size. This bed over here is done now, but I planted those at 6 inches and they were okay, but honestly a little bit too big. So in the future, I think 4 inches is a really nice head size. And just in case this is a new concept to you, you can actually change the size of your sunflower head based on your spacing. So say I were to take all the same seed, all the same Pro-Cut Gold Light DMRs, and I planted some at 12 inches apart, some at 6 inches apart, and some at 4 inches apart. The one at 12 inches would be taller, they would have thicker stems, and they would have bigger heads. And maybe that's what you want, and you should go with that spacing. Ooh, there's a bee wanting to say hi to me. But say you want to tuck your sunflowers into hand-tied bouquets, market bouquets, that's where I want the head to be a little bit smaller. So I give them less space to grow, therefore giving me a smaller stem and a smaller head. So I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that that was a thing that you can do. You can actually change the flower size based on spacing when it comes to these pro-cut sunflowers. Now, don't those look gorgeous? That's just cheerfulness and a handful of flowers, if you ask me. So this space is very nostalgic to both myself and my mother, as it did belong to my grandmother originally. My grandmother has been gone about, I guess, maybe 13 years now, and my grandfather passed away, I think, gosh, it's been 2 years now. But anyway, after his passing, my big Italian family, I come from a real big Italian family, went to his house, and we all kind of took turns tagging things in the house that were very nostalgic to us. So one of the things I tagged was this vase. I remember it always sat in the bedroom that I would sleep in when I slept over. I would always call it my Aunt Cheryl's bedroom. I think it maybe was her bedroom later on in life. My grandma had 7 children, and gosh, there's tons of us grandkids. But anyway, I get on a tangent there, but all is to say, this vase is very nostalgic for me. I just remember sleeping over my grandma's house, waking up, and there on the dresser was this vase. So I thought this would be a nice way to deliver these sunflowers. Now let's harvest some fruit and then go on over to my mom's. So the pears are looking awesome this year. I can take them some banana peppers too. So I think this is a good amount. I don't want to overwhelm them, but hopefully if she wants to make a pear pie or tart or applesauce, she'll have what she needs. I did deliver to them some apple butter last week, and I will link that recipe in the description because my dad really knows his apple butter, and he said it's the best he's ever had, and you do it in a crock pot, so it's nice and easy. So here's a quick look at some of my dad's books. This is a new one that he's coming out with, The Story of Christmas. I think this is my favorite book he's ever written. I love the story, but the pictures are just absolutely adorable. Then he has all these Jonah, the prodigal son, and this is just some of what he's done, guys. He did the children's version of My Utmost for his highest. He won some kind of really esteemed award for that. Ruth is why I moved to this area to do Ruth at Sight and Sound. David and Goliath, The Story of Easter, The Good Samaritan, but just a small selection of some of his books. But let me just show you inside this one because it's so cute with the pictures. Telling the story of Christmas with rhymes. It kind of reminds me of the Berenstain Bears meets Dr. Seuss. And I was telling my dad and my mom too that maybe they should come out with a few recipes to accompany this book, just for their social media or something. Like this cute little hot cocoa with the candy cane and the cinnamon stick with these gingerbread coming out. It's just kind of cute things to look at everywhere. And then you could kind of enjoy the recipes while you read along. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Well guys, here we are at my parents' absolutely beautiful garden. This garden is really brand new. They just started working on this area 3 months ago, and they use the no-dig method here. So they just put down cardboard, put down a lot of compost, and then dug holes where they wanted their shrubs. So you can see it looks like we have some beautiful mini mauvet hydrangeas taking on their fall color. I see a beautiful tough stuff hydrangea. My mom is really good with container planting. She's got this beautiful healthy basil right here. But let me show you what we're really here to see, which is that cup and saucer vine. And here it is growing up the bird feeder from Good Directions. And can you see how it has really just taken over? My mom and dad said it actually grew all the way up, and now they're having it grow back down because that's how vigorous it really is. Let's get a close-up to see how cool these flowers look. Now, isn't this just the most beautiful and enchanting flower that you've ever seen? And the flowers are really big too, you know, probably the size of my fingers there. So here's what my mom said happens. She says the flowers start out looking like this. Then the next day, she'll see kind of the flowers start to puff out and be white like this. Then the next day, they'll be kind of white and green and almost a light lavender to them. And then on the third day, they'll look like this. And I'm not sure the stage we want to pick this at. If anyone has that information, would you please share it in the comment section? And then the final day, before it drops off, it's kind of this really deep, deep violet. And then she said on that final day, she'll just see the flower laying on the ground and you're left with this. And you can see the stamen there. So really interesting to see the growth pattern of this vine, but really, I just think this is absolutely magical. So, and this is just one seed right here. I actually have the seed packet in my pocket. I got it from Renee's, and the seeds are really big. So if you're working with kids and you're looking for something fun to grow, maybe you want to get away from other big seeds like sunflowers, maybe give this vine a try. I started it in March, and now we are at late August. And it's just really started blooming. So this is kind of a late blooming vine. So that might be good too. Maybe your other vines are kind of petering out and you want something for a great kind of late summer fall show. Maybe try cup and saucer vine. And does this remind anybody else of the old Willy Wonka movie with Gene Wilder, where he's kind of drinking from this cup and then all of a sudden he takes a bite of it? Doesn't that look like cup and saucer vine? And before we leave, I want to show you some other beautiful things she's growing. She has Acidanthera as well, that beautiful white flower with that burgundy star in the center that smells like vanilla. And then of course, as you're around the corner, guess what she's growing? She's got the queen of dahlias, Cafe au lait. She's also got the queen of cut flower dahlias, Cornell. And then she has this beautiful mahogany splendor hibiscus. This was something else that I started from seed, and you can just see how it's taken off in one season. So maybe you want a Japanese maple, but maybe you don't want to make the investment right now, or maybe you have too much sun. Maybe you want to give the mahogany splendor hibiscus a try. You can grow that from seed for almost no money at all. Now here's the cup and saucer vine in my garden. It's right here on the entryway fence, and it really just never took off. I had a few that I was trying to grow up are bird feeders and bird houses, but for whatever reason, it just really didn't do as good as the one over at my mom's. Well guys, I'm back home now, and wasn't it just so fun to see that cup and saucer vine? I'm so glad to see it thriving in her garden and to be able to enjoy it. It really reminds me of a flower that should be in a Disney movie like Alice in Wonderland, that Alice should be drinking her tea right from that cup and saucer vine flower. But I just want to wish you a great day out there in your gardens, and until next time, happy gardening. Bye!